Good Sunday morning, Northeast Ohio, as we get set to mark an historic week in the House as the full body is expected to vote along party lines to impeach the president, setting the stage for a trial in the Senate. Senate Majority Leader Mitch McConnell making it clear there will be no daylight between Senate Republicans and the president.
I'm going to coordinate with the president's lawyers, so there won't be any difference between us on how to do this. The case is so darn weak coming over from the House. We all know how it's going to end. There's no chance the president's going to be removed from office.
Ohio Democratic Senator Sherrod Brown.
Well, Mitch McConnell himself is frankly not doing his job. This is a legitimate impeachment. My fear is this is one more way that the President of the United States is undermining democracy.
And I'll be talking more about this coming up on This Week. Well, a year ago, before leaving office, former Ohio Governor John Kosich spoke at the City Club on the issue of automation in the American workplace.
The number one occupation in America today is driving. When we get autonomous vehicles, what are we going to do with those people? You think we're angry now?
His point was to challenge industry and education to meet tomorrow's changing workforce needs. And yes, there are fewer jobs in manufacturing than there were decades ago, but that doesn't mean there aren't job openings. The headlines touting the rise of the robot can be scary. And a study released this fall found that Northeast Ohio ranked as the 10th most susceptible area of the country for what was called robot exposure. Magnate, Cleveland's manufacturing advocacy and growth network, says at least in manufacturing, robotics doesn't mean the elimination of jobs.
Less than 5% of manufacturers today would say they are using automation to replace people. Instead, they're using to augment.
That is, work with an employee to increase productivity and fill what the Association for Advancing Automation says are often the hardest jobs to fill in the workplace.
Typically, it's a dirty, dull, we call them the 3Ds, a dirty, dull, or dangerous task that either companies have a hard time finding qualified people to be put in those tasks, or there's just not a job that anyone wants anyways.
And the employees that did those repetitive jobs are often retrained for another because while companies can find robots, they can't find people. Magnate says that 60% of their manufacturers say they would expand if they could find the workers.
Across Northeast Ohio today, there are 8,000 open positions in manufacturing. And these are careers.
Still, to ensure the current employees are protected in the face of automation, Senator Sherrod Brown has introduced the Workers' Right to Training Act, which would require companies to provide training for workers whose jobs will change as a result of new technology, severance if they lose their jobs as a result, and also a simple heads up.
I mean, companies don't all of a sudden wake up the next day and add some technology. They plan it, and they can plan to bring their employees in and give them a shot at these jobs.
At least in manufacturing, where CARP says an estimated third of the present workforce will be retiring in the next several years. That's almost guaranteed.
The shortage in manufacturing of individuals means every single manufacturer that we go out to has another role, probably a better role, for any person that is doing a repetitive task today.
I can tell you there will be plenty of jobs if the Hyperloop project is to become a reality, like 900,000 of them in the Great Lakes region alone between 2025 and 2050. That's just one of the findings in a $1.3 million feasibility study that will be released tomorrow. Lest you think that Hyperloop transportation is something that may be a few generations away, think again.
It's coming a lot sooner than you think. I mean, we're not talking about decades, we're talking about years.
Rob Miller is Chief Marketing Officer for Hyperloop Transportation Technologies, the group behind the project that involves levitating passenger cars in a tube traveling at speeds of over 700 miles an hour. HTT and the Northeast Ohio Coordinating Agency, or NOACA, will release Monday the results of a feasibility study announced 22 months ago, a study that they say produces promising results, enough for them to extend the Chicago to Cleveland line to Pittsburgh. Hyperloop travel actually produces more energy than it uses, making it the most cost-effective form of travel.
So that means in terms of ticket prices, it'll be much closer to a bus ticket than it will be to a full fare coach ticket today.
HTT is one of three major efforts underway to bring Hyperloop travel to different parts of America. HTT, though, has already completed the first full-scale capsule and test track in France.
Our test track in Toulouse is operational. We'll be doing passenger testing next year in France, and then we start to build as well the first 5-kilometer Hyperloop in Abu Dhabi.
That research, plus the relatively flat topography of the route, means the state that was the birthplace of aviation might have another first in its future.
I really believe that this is the most advanced Hyperloop project in the United States, and with the support, with its potential to be the first in the United States.
And to be sure, we will have the complete results of that feasibility study when it's released tomorrow on our News 5 app.
With Democracy 2019, I'm John Kosich. Enjoy your Sunday.